This is the Java series. So now let's discuss about inheritance. Inheritance is one of the pillars of OOPS. What is OOPS? OOPS is a methodology to design a software. Why we need OOPS? It simplifies the software development and maintenance. That's why we need OOPS. Okay. So already we have discussed about the encapsulation. That is one of the pillars. Now let's discuss about the inheritance. This is also one of the pillars of OOPS. Okay. So what is inheritance? It's a mechanism in which one class acquires all the properties and behaviors of a parent class. A new class inherits all the properties and behaviors from the older class. So this type of mechanism is called the inheritance. Okay, and inheritance represents the easier relationship, that is also known as parent-child relationship. Okay, and what is subclass? Subclass is a class which inherits the other class. Okay, it is also called a derived class, extended class or child class. What is superclass? Superclass is the class where a subclass inherits. So this superclass is also known as parent class and base class. What is the syntax of inheritance? Here class is the keyword and the name of the subclass extends keyword and then the name of the superclass. Okay, in between the curly braces we have to write the statements. We are making a new class, okay, from an existing class. So the extends meaning is to increase the functionality. Got it? So what are the types of inheritance in Java language? On the basis of class, we have three types only. Okay, single, multi-level and hierarchical. Okay, and other two types of inheritance like a multiple and hybrid inheritance is supported through interface only. We will discuss later about interface. Now, let's discuss only about single inheritance. Here, this is the structure of the single inheritance. Class B is the new class and class A is the old class. Okay, that is class A is the base class or parent class or superclass. All are same. Okay, class B, this is the derived class or subclass child class. All are same. Okay, so this class B inherits the properties and behaviors from class A. Let's see this example. Here I have created two classes, parent class and this is also one class. Okay, so inside this class only I have the main method. So my file name must be this class name only. And inside this parent class I have the method display parent. What is the function of this method? This is used to print the I am a parent class on my console. Okay, and here I have used the inheritance. That is one of the pillars of OOPS concept. So now only we have discussed about the inheritance mechanism. What is it? The child class inherits the properties and behaviors from the parent class. Here the child class is this one. Parent class is this one. Okay, inside this parent I have a method display parent. Okay, so now I want to use this method inside this class. How is it possible? With the help of the inheritance that is possible. Isn't it? There is no need to write the same method inside this class again. Okay, so if we implement the inheritance concept, there is no need to write this display parent method again inside this class. We can use the inheritance concept instead of writing the same code inside this class. So if I write like this means I can use all the methods which are present inside this parent class, inside this class. Okay, so what is the usage of inheritance? The code reusability. Okay, there is no need to write the same method inside this class if we implement the inheritance concept in my program. Got it? Here inside the child class I have created the method display child. Okay, and what is the role of this method is used to print the I am a child class on my console. Inside this main method, I have created the object for this class. That is, this is the name of the child class. Okay. And this is what the default constructor. In the last session, we have discussed about the constructor. Okay. So, this constructor will be invoked during the creation of the object. Okay. And here, I have used the object of this child class only. But I can call the parent class method. How is it possible? With the help of inheritance, it's possible. Okay. So here I have implemented the inheritance concept. That's why we can call the parent class method using the child class object. Actually, this object is for this child class. Okay, with the help of inheritance only, we can access the parent class method using the child class object. Okay, and this is the method for child class. So, I can access both parent class methods and the child class methods. Okay, so this is the call statement. So, the control jumps from the 19th line to here. That is the 4th line. Okay. So, this statement will be printed on our console. And again the control jumps from the 7th line to 20th line. Here we have the method call statement. So, after encounter this line, the control jumps from the 20th line to 12th line. So, this method is present inside the child class only. So, we can call. Okay. So, this is like normal. Okay. But this is happened with the help of what? The inheritance concept. Okay. With the help of inheritance only, we can call this method using the child class object. Okay. And this statement will be printed on our console. Again, the control jumps from the 15th line to the 21st line. Okay. Now, let me execute this one. This is the output for this statement. So, we got this one. Okay. And this is the output for this statement. Okay. So, this method is from the parent class and this method is from the child class. Okay. There is no need to create two objects for two classes. Okay. I just create a single object to call the child class as well as the parent class methods. Okay, this is the advantage of inheritance. So, this type of structure is called the single inheritance because here we have a single child class and single parent class. That's why this type is the single inheritance. Okay. In the last session, we have discussed about what is inheritance and what is single inheritance type. Okay, inheritance is the mechanism in which the child class inherits all the properties and behaviors from the parent class. Okay, so child class is the new class, parent class is the existing class. Okay, so new class inherits all the properties and behaviors from the existing one. This type of mechanism is called what? The inheritance. What is single inheritance? It contains a single child class and single parent class. Child class inherits all the properties and behaviors from the parent class. Okay. Now, we will discuss about the multi-level inheritance. Okay. Here, this is the example diagram for the multi-level inheritance. In this diagram, we have three classes. Class A is the last child class. Okay. So, this class inherits the properties and behaviors from class B. And this class B is the child class for class A. So, this child class inherits all the properties and behaviors from the class A. So, class A contains the properties and behaviors from B as well as A. Got it? So, this type of structure is called the multi-level inheritance. Now, let's see this example. Here, I have created three classes. This is my first class and this is my second class and this is my third class. Okay. So, this is the class A This is like the class B. This is like the class C. Okay. In this diagram, we have seen. Okay. So here C inherits from B, B inherits from A, and C consists of all the properties and behaviors of class B as well as class A. Okay. Likewise, here this multi-level, okay, this class consists of all the properties from son as well as parent 1. Got it? First we have to create the parent class. Okay, this is my first class name, parent 1. Inside this parent 1, I have the display parent. This is the user defined function. What is the role of this method? This method is used to print this statement on my console with the help of the println method. Got it? Okay. And here I have created the second class. The name of the second class is son. And here I have used the extends keyword. We know already this is the keyword. This keyword is used to implement the inheritance. Okay. So this is your new class and this is your existing class. Parent 1 is the existing class and son is the new class. So if I write like this means what happens? The son inherits all the properties and behaviors from parent 1. So inside this parent 1 I have a single method display parent. Okay, that method we can access with the help of the object of this class. Okay, so what type is this? From second line to 15th line, that is from this to 15. So what type is this? This is the single inheritance type because this is your new class and this is your existing class. So what type is this? This is the single inheritance type. Okay, but here I have created one more class. The name is multilevel. Here this class extends son. Means what happens? The multi-level class inherits all the properties from son as well as from parent 1 because son inherits all the properties from parent 1. That's why this multi-level inherits all the properties from parent 1 also. Okay, and inside this multi-level, that is the last class, here we have the display grandson. Okay, so what is the role of this one? This method is used to print this statement on my console. Inside this class only I have the main method. So my file name must be this class only. Why? Because inside this class only I have the main method. So I have to give the file name as this class name. Okay, if I give son as file name or parent 1 as file name means I will get error only. Okay, and here inside the main method I have created the object for multi-level. Okay, so this is the object and this keyword is used to create the memory for this object during the execution of the program, that is at runtime, and this is the constructor. And here there is no parameters inside the round bracket. So this is called the default constructor. In this example, I didn't have the constructor. Then what will happen? The compiler creates the constructor automatically. So what is the role of the default constructor? The constructor is used to give the default values to the objects. Okay, and here I have used the object for this class to call all the methods. Here with the help of the inheritance, I have created single object. With the help of this single object I can call display parent, display son and display grandson also. Okay, this is from this class only, so no problem. But these two, display parent and display son, are not present inside this multi-level. But I can access with the help of the object of this class. How? With the help of this inheritance process. Okay, so m1.display parent. So the control jumps from the 27th line to the 4th line, and this statement will be printed on our console. Again the control jumps from the 8th line to the 28th line. Here we have the display son. Okay, and the object is same. that is the object of multi-level only, not the object of sun. No need to create the object for sun because of this inheritance. I can use the object for this multi-level. Okay, and the control jumps from the 28th to 9th line. And here we have the display sun. This is the method definition, and this statement will be printed on our console. After the execution of this, the control again jumps from the 15th line to the 29th line. So this method is inside this multi-level only. Okay, this is the object for multi-level M1, and the control jumps from the 29th line to the 19th line, and this statement will be printed on our console. After the execution of this, the control again jumps from the 22 to 30. Got it? Sun inherits from parent 1, multi-level inherits sun as well as parent 1. Okay, so there is no need to create 3 objects to call them methods present inside the 3 classes. Let me execute this one here. So this is my first output from this method, and this is my second output statement from this method. This is my third output from this method. Okay, I hope you all understood about what is multi-level inheritance. Okay, according to our requirement, we can choose single inheritance or multi-level inheritance. Okay. In this session, we will discuss about the hierarchical. So this is the structure of the hierarchical inheritance. Okay, single class, more than one child. So this type of structure is called the hierarchical inheritance type. So from this diagram, what we will understand, class B inherits all the properties and behaviors from class A, and class C also inherits all the properties and behaviors from class A. Okay, so class A is the parent class B and class C are the children. Got it? Now let's see this example. I have created 3 classes, parent class, child 1 and child 2. Okay, here inside this class I have created the display parent method. So what is the role of this method? It is used to print I am a parent class on my console. Okay, and this is my second class, child 1. That is, this is the new class and this is the existing one. Okay, here we have used the extends keyword. Okay, so what type is this from this to 15th line? This is like the single inheritance because single child and single parent. Okay, so up to this is the single inheritance structure. Okay, so inside this child 1, I have one method, display child 1. So what is the role of this one? Here I am a child 1 class. This statement will be printed on our console. This is the task of this method definition. And I have created the one more class, child 2. Okay, and here extends keyword I have used, and here I have used the parent class only. So child 1 inherits from parent class, also child 2 inherits parent class. So what type is this from this to this? This is the hierarchical because single parent, more than one child. This type of structure is called the hierarchical structure. Okay, so here how many objects we have to create? We have to create 2 objects because in this particular example I have created only 2 number of children. Okay, so we have to create 2 number of objects. For a single inheritance, we have to create a single object to call methods from parent as well as the child. Multi-level means we have to create the single object. With the help of that single object alone, we can call all the children and parent class methods. Okay, here we have to create the objects that is equivalent to the number of children. In this example, I have created only 2 number of children. Okay, so here I have to create two objects to call the methods from parent and the children. Okay, here inside this child2 class I have a method display child2. What is the role of this one? This is used to print this statement on my console. I am a child2 class will be printed on our console. Okay, and inside this child2 class only we have the main method. So we have to give the file name as child2 only. Okay, we know already. Okay, and inside the main method I have created two objects because in this example we have only two number of children. So we have to create two objects to call all the parent and children methods. So this is the object for child2 and this is the object for child1. We know already about the new keyword. New keyword is used to create the memory for the object during the execution of the program, and this is the constructor. Okay, so this constructor is used to initialize the default values to the objects. Okay, in this example we didn't have any default constructors. If there is no constructor in our example, means what happens? The compiler creates the default constructor automatically, implicitly. Okay, so here this is the default constructor. Likewise, here I have created the object for child1 and here we have used the new keyword and this is the default constructor. Got it? Okay, now I want to call all the methods from parent as well as the children. So now I want to call the parent class method. So here this is the object of child1. So this child1 inherits the parent class. I can call the parent class method using the object of child1, isn't it? So the control jumps from the 29th line to the parent class method. This is the function definition part for this call statement. So the control execute this statement on our console and the control jumps from the 8th line to the 30th line. Here C1 is the object for child1, that is this one. Inside this class we have this method, that is this call statement. After encounter this line, the control jumps from the 30th line to the 9th line and this method is used to print this statement on our console. After the execution of this method, again the control jumps from the 15th line to 32nd line. Here we have the display parent. But I use the C2 object. C2 is what? The child2 class object. Okay. So this child2 inherits all the properties and behaviors from parent class. So we can call the methods from this parent class using the child2 object like this. So the control jumps from the 32nd to here 4th line and this statement will be printed. After the execution of this, the control again jumps from 8th line to the 33rd line. Okay, here we have the display child2. So what is it? This is the object of child2. So control jumps from 33rd to display child2. This is present inside the child2 only. So we can use the object of child2 to call this method. So this statement will be printed on our console. In this example, we have a single parent, two children. Okay, two children inherits all the properties and behaviors from the parent class. Got it? Let me execute this one. So here I am a parent class. This is the output for this statement. And I am a child class. This is the output for this statement. And I am a parent class. This is the output for C2.displayParent. And I am a child2 class. This is the output statement for C2.displayChild2 statement. I hope you all understood about the hierarchical inheritance type. Okay. In the previous sessions, we have discussed about the OOPS pillars, that is encapsulation and inheritance. Now we will discuss about the third pillar, polymorphism. What is polymorphism? It is used to perform a single action in different ways. Okay, and this is derived from two Greek words, poly and morphs. Poly means many, morphs means forms. So polymorphism means many forms. Okay, let's take a real-time example. A woman. If the woman is sitting inside the home means her role is the mother. If that woman goes to the bank means her role is the customer. Okay. If she goes to the hospital, her role is the patient. Okay. Actually, a single person, but her role is different in different places. Okay. This is the real-time example for polymorphism. Okay. Polymorphism means many forms. Okay. There are two types of polymorphism. One is compile-time polymorphism and another one is runtime polymorphism. In this session, we will discuss about the compile-time polymorphism, that is method overloading. Okay, so what is method overloading? Method overloading allows different methods to have the same name. Okay, but different signatures. Different signatures means where the signature can differ by the number of input parameters or the data type of the input parameters or a mixture of both. Okay, so this is called the overloading concept. Okay, and method overloading is also known as the compile-time polymorphism, static polymorphism or early binding. Okay, and if we want to write the method like adding two numbers and adding three numbers, what we will do? We have to create two methods to perform the same operation, that is addition operation. Okay, but if we implement this method overloading concept means what happens? You can use the same name two methods, but you give the different number of arguments. So what is the advantage for this method overloading? Increases the readability of the program. Okay, so there is no need to create more methods for the same operation. Okay, so what you will do? You can implement the method overloading. So now let's see this example. Then only you will be clear. Here, this is the example program for the compile-time polymorphism. Here I have created the adder class. And inside this class I have created two methods. Here the name of the methods are same, but I have given different number of arguments. So this is called the method overloading. Actually, I want to add the numbers, but in this method I add only two number of arguments, but in this method I add three number of parameters. Okay. Addition operation is the same, but arguments alone different. Okay, this is the one way. Okay, so if we want to implement the method overloading means we have to give the same method name, but we have to give the different number of arguments. Okay, here this method return the addition of A and B. Okay, these statements are used to print the A and B values on our console. Okay. Here this method is used to add three number of parameters. This is only the difference. The name of the methods are the same, but here I have only two number of arguments. In this case I have three number of arguments. Got it? And here I have created one more class. In this class only I have created the main method. So I have to give the file name as this class name only because this class only have the main method. So this is my file name. Test-poly1 is my file name. Okay. And I have created the object for the adder class. Okay. So here this object is created outside of this class. Okay. So this class is outside of this class. Okay. And a new keyword is used to create the memory for this object at runtime, and this is the default constructor. Okay, and here this is the output statement. Here I have used the object to call the method which belongs to this object class. So what is it? This is the object of the adder class. This method belongs to the adder class only. Here I have passed only 2 number of arguments. So what the compiler will do, the control jumps from the 23rd line to here only, because in this method only I have the 2 arguments. The control comes here and printing the A value and printing the B value and adding A and B. That value will be returned using this return keyword, and the control jumps from the 7th line to here. Added value will be printed on our console. And here I have passed 3 values. So what happens? This is the object of the adder class. Okay, so I can access the add method which belongs to the adder class, because this is the object of adder class only. So the control jumps from the 24th line to here, because here only we have the 3 arguments. Okay, so this 11 will be stored inside the A, and 21 will be stored inside B, and 17 will be stored inside C. Okay, and I print all the values on our console with the help of the println method, and addition of 3 numbers will be returned. So the control jumps from the 14th line to 25th line and print the addition of these 3 values. Okay, let me execute this one. Here A value is 12, B value is 11. Okay, and this is the result for this statement. Adding these 2 numbers, 12 plus 11, 23. Okay, and A value is 11, B value is 21, and the C value is 17. Okay, and this is the result for this statement. So 11 plus 21 plus 17, 49 is the result. Okay, so this is the example program for method overloading. Okay, in this example we have used the same method name. Okay, how the compiler will identify? With the help of the arguments only, the compiler identify which method will be invoked. Okay, if you pass 2 number of arguments, this method will be invoked. If you pass 3 number of arguments, this method will be invoked. Okay, so this is the compile time polymorphism. And see the one more example. Here test poly 4, this is my class name, and inside this class I have created 2 methods, add and add. The method name is same. Okay, and here we have 2 number of arguments. Here also we have the 2 number of arguments. Then how the compiler will identify which method will be invoked if we call this method means with the help of the data type of the arguments. Both the arguments are integer, but here we have integer type argument and float type argument. So the compiler identify which method will be invoked when we call the add method. Okay, so here this add method is used to adding A and B, but A integer data type, B is also integer data type. Okay, and here also we have the same number of arguments, but A is integer, B is float. If I give here also int means what we will get? We got the compile time error. Okay, because that is invalid. Okay, so we have to give the different. If we want to give the same means what you will do? You have to give the different number of arguments. Here we have only 2 number of arguments. Here we have the 3 number of arguments. So you can use the integer data type. But in this case, I have 2 number of arguments for both add method. How the compiler will identify? With the help of the data type of the variable only, the compiler will identify. Okay, if we have give the same number of arguments means you have to give the different data types. Then only the compiler identify which method will be invoked. Got it? So here what happens? A plus B. So A data type is integer and B data type is float. So the result will be float only, but I want to convert that float value into integer. Okay, so I just use the typecasting method here. Okay, and the float value will be converted into integer. That value only will be returned because here I have given the return type as integer. Okay, if I am not use this typecasting here means I will get the error only because here I have given int. Okay, the return type must be the int only. So it returns only the float because here A is integer and B is float. So the addition of two numbers will give the float only. So we have to convert the float into the integer because here we have the integer return type. That's why I have to convert the float into integer. Okay, and here I have created the main method. I have created the object for this test poly 4. This is my class name, and this is the default constructor, new keyword. You know very well about this one. And here with the help of this object I can call the add method. Its data type is integers only. Here this is integer and this is the float. We have to append F letter for the float value. Okay, then only the compiler will understand this is the float value. Okay, and after encounter this line, what happens? The control jumps from the 18th line to the 3rd line. So this 5 will be stored inside the A variable and the 9 will be stored inside the B variable. After the execution of this statement, the addition of 5 and 9 will be returned from 7th line to the 18th line. That value will be printed on our console. Got it? And here T1 dot add of one int value, one float value. So the compiler identifies which method will be invoked. So the control jumps from the 19th line to 9th only. Actually here and here we have the same method names and the number of arguments also the same, but how the compiler will identify? With the help of the data type of the arguments only the compiler will identify which method will be invoked. Okay, so this 11 will be stored inside this A variable and 22 will be stored inside the B variable. Okay, after the addition of these numbers will be returned with the help of this return keyword. The control jumps from the 13th line to the 19th line. What is the result? 33 will be printed on our console. Okay, let me execute this one. Here A value is 5, B value is 9. So this method is invoked. So what is the result? 14. And here 11 is the integer and 22 is the float. So this method is invoked. What is the result? 11 plus 22, 33 is printed. Got it? So polymorphism means many forms. Okay, here we have the single operation but different number of methods. Okay, but the method name is same. In this example, the number of arguments are different, but in this example, the number of arguments are same, the method name also same, but what is the difference? The data type of the variables are different. Okay, so what is the advantage of this type of polymorphism? It increases the readability of the program. So there is no need to give different names for these two methods. We can give the same method names. Got it?
In this session, we will discuss about the method overriding concept in polymorphism. Here, I have created two classes. Vehicle is my parent class and bike is my child class. Okay, so we already know about the inheritance. Here I have implemented the single type inheritance. Bike is the child class and vehicle is the parent class. Bike inherits all the properties and behaviors from the vehicle. Okay, in between the parent and the child class we have used the extends keyword. Okay, this means this is the single type inheritance. Okay, when a method in a subclass has the same name and the same number of parameters and the same return type as a method in its parent class, then the method in the subclass is said to override the method in the superclass. So this is the example program for runtime polymorphism. Method overloading is the compile time polymorphism. Okay. So inside the subclass, that is the child class, we have the run method. Okay. Inside the parent class, we have the run method. Here inside the round brackets, there is no parameters. Here also there is no parameters. And here the return type is void. And here also the return type is void. So if we want to implement the method overriding in our program or project means, what are the rules we have to follow? The names of the methods inside the subclass and superclass should be same. And the number of parameters inside the superclass and subclass methods should be same. And the return type of the methods inside the sub and superclass should be same. Okay, so we have to follow these rules. Then only we can implement the method overriding concept. Okay, that is the runtime polymorphism. Okay, so here I have created the main method inside the subclass bike. So we have to give the file name as bike. And here I have created the object for bike, that is the child class. And here I have used the new keyword. New keyword is used to create the memory for this object during the execution of the program, and this is the default constructor. And I have created one more object for the parent class also, but it refers the child class. Okay, so now I call the method using the child class object. So what happens after encounter this line? The control jumps from the 20th line to the 10th line. Actually, inside this bike we have the run method, and inside the vehicle also we have run method. Both the names are same, number of parameters are same. Here there is no parameter, and the return type is also same. The child class run only will be invoked. This method override this method which is present inside the vehicle, that is the parent class. Okay, so this is called the method overriding. Statement only will be printed on our console. Okay, and object1.run. Actually here I have created the object for vehicle. Okay, but it refers the child class only. Okay, so what happens? This run only will be executed. This run will not be executed. Okay, because here I have created the object for vehicle, but it refers the child class only. So if I call the run for this object, again the control jumps from the 21 to 12 only. So this statement only will be executed on our console. Let me execute this one. So this is for this statement and this is for this statement. Now I want to call the parent class. Means what I will do? I have to create the object for vehicle class only. Then only I can call the method run which is present inside the vehicle. Let me execute the same again. Here vehicle is running. This is from this run method. Okay, if we implement the method overriding concept, means the method which is present inside the child class override the method which is present in the parent class. Okay, that's why we got bike is running safely for this statement, because this one is the object of bike, that is the child class only. Okay, if I call the run method, means the child class method only will be executed. The parent class run is overridden. Got it? So we have completed the polymorphism types. Runtime polymorphism, compile time polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism is the method overloading concept and runtime polymorphism is the method overriding concept. Okay, I hope you all understand. We have completed this session. If you have any doubts, drop the message on the comment section. If this video is useful to you, like and share. For more videos, subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon, then only you will get the notification for my new updates. Have a nice day. Thank you.